I found these at the grocery store.
Not a moo?
Not a moo.
The mochi situation, it looks
They're
like.
like little mochi things.
Yeah,
I
I've seen
think.
these before. Yeah.
But I've never tried them before.
Peanut butter. Ooh.
Water, coconut cream, organic cane sugar, organic rice syrup.
Wait, is it not mochi?
No. Natural
Let me see.
flavors.
Give me one of them. Coconut milk-based morsel, delicate wrapped in a soft, chewy, minty coating. It sounds like it's like
Mochi-esque.
pseudo-mochi. Yeah.
So I have 2 flavors. Peanut butter and mint chocolate chip.
Do you want to have a brain freeze race?
Yeah. The dog does too.
Yeah, Fry's all about it.
Fry's like, you have peanut butter, huh?
These are challenging looking.
Oh my. It's going to be a challenge trying to keep it from the dog.
The peppermint oil is strong.
Peanut is artificial peanut flavor.
Try
It's
these.
like chalky. Here, try the peanut butter one. Huh.
Ow.
Yeah.
Ow.
My teeth hurt.
Our flavor is terrible.
The chocolate is okay, but the peanut butter's not good.
The mint is much better.
The mint has a better chew, too.
Yeah.
Oh my god, my teeth. Ha.
We're children.
Oh no. Ugh.
You won the brain freeze race. Good job.
Well, it cleared my sinuses, so that's nice. Welcome to episode 3 of Cult Flav is Going Off. I'm Sarah.
I'm Bryn.
Today we've got a little meta conversation about the whole Geoffrey Lee and Kat Ensign debacle and the cost of reviewing things on the internet. We've also got some questions about how to use some of our favorite ingredients. And our first guest spot is airing today with Ori and Chris from our favorite zine, Radicchio Salad.
That whole shoot was so much fun.
Yeah, it was a great time. You'll see it. But before we begin, we'd be remiss if we didn't thank our sponsors, which is
You. 52 of you specifically.
Yeah, 52 people who subscribed to our content, shot us $20 a year, not a month. This is $20 a year to support the content.
But it's a pay what you want model. A lot of you chose to pay more than $20, and we thank you so much. That's so helpful. That definitely reduces our number from 10,000 that we really need to a more manageable number for each one of those.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We're working on some fun new features this week, probably next week. I don't know. You say
we're
more
not really
about that
on
because you actually do most of that work.
Yeah. The question is just like what the priorities are. Like I broke the recipe editor, and someone told me about that from Austria.
Oh, yeah.
And so like I'm just fixing things as we go. But we're also shooting a cookbook review this week, which takes up a lot of time. So, it'll get there. We're playing the long game here. We're going to make it good. We're going to make it right. It's just going to take a bit.
But thank you for the people who
Thank you
jumped
all
in
so
the
much.
last week since we announced it.
My biggest fear was going to be like, okay, we're going to make a lot of noise about this and then launch it, and no one's going to do it.
Yeah.
And like 50 people straight out of the jump was awesome.
Amazing.
You bought 2 of the sand mixers for our sand mixer review in like a day. So thank you.
Thank you.
If you would like to go sponsor us, $20 a year, that's all it takes. If you feel like you get more value from us than that, you're certainly welcome to increase the number. It's an input and a button, and that's it. So easy.
Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, have you heard this? You've heard this because you helped me write this.
I wrote most of this.
Have you heard this? A couple of weeks ago, a restaurant reviewer, Kat Ensign.
Yep. At Catwalk SF.
Yep. Gave a middling review. Middling.
Yes.
Like not even, it was barely anything. Review of a restaurant in San Francisco called Hamburger Project.
Yes.
Where she referred to their food as good, not great. Good, not great. That's like...
I think the worst thing she said was that a sandwich was a 5.1, little thin, not a lot of sauce.
Yeah, and she
Not a
said she
slam
didn't
for
like
her.
the onions on another one, which is like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
She doesn't like onions.
But she wasn't being mean about it,
No.
is the point.
Anyway, in response, the chef/restaurateur behind the restaurant, previously Michelin-starred chef Geoffrey Lee, launched a truly unhinged harassment campaign against her, where he not only repeatedly insulted and belittled her in her Instagram DMs, but also publicly commented on many of her unrelated posts, calling her unstable and complaining about the way her voice sounds. All because he felt slighted by a reviewer saying it wasn't exceptional. Good, not great. This culminated in his removal as chef from all of his restaurants, though it's unclear if he still maintains a financial stake in any
Which
of these
I have to
restaurants.
assume he does. Because things don't go as well you'd like.
In a couple TikTok lives since then, we've had a bunch of people ask us our take on the situation. Mm-hmm. Frankly, we don't have one other than the obvious, which is that this is completely unacceptable for anyone to do to another person.
Right.
Full stop, unacceptable. But it also gets at some of the inherent challenges of reviewing, which is both hard to do at a high level and takes a personal toll. And it's unsurprising that we have strong opinions about this matter.
I spend an inordinate amount of my time thinking about like the meta of reviews because I'm so nervous about doing them well and like making sure we give people the benefit of the doubt where we can. Because things like Maddie Matheson's, like the soup salad sandwiches review, it feels bad. Like I was like depressed for a week writing that review, just like shit. Like it sucks so much spending this much time and then being like, I mean, we can't recommend this to people.
Yeah. But also it sucks to have spent like that much time in the kitchen with a book that you know is not worth it.
Right. Like the whole point is that we're kind of concentrating it down and like doing the most so you can get like as much of a view into the book as possible without actually having to spend the money and time yourself. But then there's also this like toxic positivity, this like, okay, don't talk about anything bad because I don't know. One, it feels bad, I'm sure. But two, I think there's incentives that prevent people from really sharing that kind of content that we don't have to deal with as people who aren't dependent on advertisers.
Yeah.
And a lot of these people don't have the safety net to avoid that if they're going to be in this space.
I was trying to think about like where toxic positivity came from because I know that's a big, like that's one of the biggest reasons that we have people getting upset about reviews in general.
They think we're haters because we said something bad about someone they liked.
Yeah. And so I was like, how did this even start? And the first thing that came to my mind was like, I bet it, I mean, obviously it ties back into like advertising, but I think really the big driver for toxic positivity, if I'm thinking about it, is like morning shows, Oprah, and
it's the PR
invention.
reviews.
Yeah. And the invention of product placement advertising.
Yeah.
You see these people who you watch every single day on TV who are delivering news, delivering information, and then they go and they promote these books and they promote these people or they promote these products.
But it's like human interest instead of journalism kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it turns these reviews into more of like puff pieces.
Yeah.
Because it's these companies that are paying for these reviews to happen. Everybody look under your chair.
I don't necessarily have a problem with puff pieces, but it does feel like that ubiquity has given the public this brainworm that anything said that is negative or even assertive is like an invalid way to talk about something, which is rough. I feel like I'm like a broken record on this. As a designer, critique is like...
Oh, he's a designer, by the way, if you didn't know.
Yeah, I don't feel good about that either.
Designer by trade.
Ever since
Not
like my first art class, like critique is a core part of that skill set. And giving and taking criticism is like a significant part of the toolkit. It's the best thing. Like it's so helpful. It's a gift to the person you're giving it to, even when it hurts. Like it only makes us better over time.
Yeah, but I think there's a caveat to that because you are usually getting critique from people who are in that space, who know that space inside and out, people that you trust to give you valuable critique, valuable feedback.
User feedback, though, is like, that's not as nuanced, but there's always a kernel of truth that we're trying to figure out.
But what I'm saying is like, if you don't have the experience receiving that feedback, then you're probably going to be, you know what I'm saying? You're going to be bad at giving that feedback, or you're going to get defensive when people do give you feedback. And I think this happens a lot to creators.
We get this a lot as well. I just go for the block button immediately. I had some examples because this week I was hanging out in the Internet Shaquille Discord. You know Internet Shaquille.
Yep.
So after the Flavies, where we gave Hydroxide the Lunchtime Achievement Award, she reached out. I asked her how she found us. It got shared in his Discord. I went and like joined his Patreon, went and hung out. Lovely crowd. Absolutely wonderful. But I also looked to see where the video was shared, wanted to see like what the context was, all that. One of the first posts, and I actually asked this person if I could share this, was from user Alex F. And it said, I just recently got into this channel because of their cookbook reviews, and they're pretty interesting, though not without some quirks. Chiefly that they are haters with like 6 A's.
Haters.
And I think present their extremely subjective opinions as obvious facts sometimes. But I think they are extremely consistent and rigorous in the way they talk about food. They reference the NetShack seed oil video here. This is a link to the first going off video. I think they're TikTokers mostly, but I hope their YT content keeps growing. Like, this is very...
Compliment sandwich.
It's a classic compliment sandwich, but it's also like nuanced, right? It's not someone dropping into our comments on TikTok and be like, I love her, he's so pretentious. Bye. Like, oh, someone did that this week and then said, I bet his ego will force him to block me or something like that. Like, no, you're being rude. That's a crazy, like, Facebook boomer ass just saying post. That's not helpful to literally anyone. I do not think that creators owe you the psychic load that it takes to just hear this stuff all the time.
Yeah. It's hard to hear this stuff all the time, constantly.
I am not worried by someone calling me pretentious. One, that's not what they mean. They probably mean like snobby or obnoxious or whatever else. Pretentious, there's not an ounce of me that's pretending to be anything. I have zero poker face. You're just getting straight Bryn the Walking Hot Take Jackson. That's all I've ever had. I'm not going to be anyone else.
Yeah.
I don't think the, oh, well, it's engagement thing is anything. But like a lot of creators who are dependent on advertisement, can't just block people at a whim. Like, I don't owe you anything in order to like just let you say rude shit all the time.
Yeah, he usually blocks these people before I see it too. So
well, that's intentional.
I see all of these like messages and I'm like, what are you talking about? Everybody's so great in here. Bryn's like, I blocked like 20 people.
Listen,
today.
I'm addicted to the Menchies.
Bryn is 100% addicted to the Menchies and I will avoid them at all costs. Because it's not that I have a fragile ego when I hear people say mean things to me on the internet. I'm kind of used to it at this point. But it does get to a point where you're just like, I'm kind of sick of it. Like, you're not really coming at any of the actual content that we're talking about or the things that we're trying to cover. You're coming at like us physically or
like MAGA bullshit, done.
Right.
Religious bullshit,
nonsense.
done.
Yeah. Like, please. It's not helpful.
Right.
But just because we appreciate critique doesn't mean that authors, especially authors of cookbooks that we review, don't necessarily appreciate that critique.
Right.
And I know we work so hard to try and give the most information that we can. We work out of the book for multiple days to try and give us an understanding of the breadth of the book. We try to give it the benefit of the doubt every single time we cook out of it. And then we give our review. I'm sorry to say, I'm just going to name it. When we did the P-Now review, we thought it was a decent review. It was very much just like good, not great.
I think we gave them like a 4 point something.
Yeah, it was like slightly less than average.
Yeah.
Because we didn't think that it fully delivered on what they were promising in the book. I thought it was a very mild review. They did not think it was a mild review.
We definitely hurt their feelings.
Into our DMs. I'm just sitting there like rewatching it furiously, trying to figure out like where I could have gone wrong. And I watched it and I was like, this is actually not that. It's a good, not great.
We never want to hurt someone's feelings.
Yeah, we felt terrible that we hurt their feelings because the last thing I want to do with these reviews is ruin somebody's day or make them not want to make anything anymore. That's not the point. The point is not to like discourage people from putting things out there. It's to like hopefully help people make things better.
Right. Criticism should be constructive in that way.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it has to be a little bit of like a period on the end. Like, this is talking about this piece of work. Here's how we felt about it, period. And the how to fix it is left to whoever, if they care to do so. Right. Like, they don't have to cater to us. That's just fine. There are caveats when it's like someone who we feel is taking advantage of someone else.
Right.
And then gloves off. We're not giving them the benefit of the doubt. Like, don't be shitty to people.
Yeah. But in the case of the P-Now, they were actually kind of dicks to us in DMs after we tried to explain everything. And so,
if you're watching the video, you're probably seeing those DMs on screen right now. Yeah. And if you're listening to the audio, they'll be in the show notes because we think it's kind of funny at this point.
Yeah.
But also like, wow, just so passive aggressive.
Yep. It was rough.
Going back to art school. Like, talking about like people who are
going
bad
back
actors.
to art. Everything comes back.
Everything comes back to art school.
Listen, everyone should just go to art school.
Learn about form. Draw the same thing 1,000 times in slightly different ways.
Yeah.
If individual like young art school students can handle critique about like their whole like shit, why should commercial enterprises get a pass? Is like the big question. The whole don't bother them, they're just trying to get their bag thing is like fundamentally flawed from my perspective.
Yeah.
There's no reason that because you're making money, I'm not going to critique you. That's crazy.
Yeah, it all comes back around to incentives.
Right.
they're trying to keep the lights on, and the only way to keep the lights on is to make these deals with these companies.
Right. That's the business of being a creator today.
And so then you get reviews that are middling. You get reviews that are swayed in the company's favor. Because this is the only, it's so fundamentally fucked. Like, if you start to think about it for just a second, it's like, who do you even believe?
So this is where objectivity comes in, which is something where, like with the Matty Matheson review, a lot of people are like, I think you're biased against him or towards him, or like you're taking his work more seriously than other people's. But I do think that even beyond the incentives, objectivity, like it's just not a thing you can do as a human being.
Right.
We know Matty's work, automatically biased. Like this is why jury selection is like, you can't know about this thing, and we want to try and make sure you haven't had experiences that are relevant to this. But the fact that we cook a lot, we write we write recipes, and then we're reviewing cookbooks, like of course we're biased.
Yeah.
But hopefully that is an experienced take then, instead of just a purely neutral journalistic endeavor.
Right. Or at least hopefully we like let you know ahead of time what relationship we have with these people, or like if we are aware of their work. Yeah. But yeah, people have to keep the lights on. And right now the only way to keep the lights on is to do positive reviews so you can sell shit for these companies.
This is the context in which I think about reviews a lot, is we have the privilege to do this because worst case scenario, I go back to a frankly high paying job. That gives me the ability to say, no, I'm not going to cater to you when I'm like writing a really like spicy review of a Always Pan Pro.
Yeah.
And not having to worry about it.
But other people are not in that position, and we get it. We understand it.
There are other like review platforms that straight up have a brand partnerships page, and like, here's how you can present your product in our reviews.
Just
that's
to stay
crazy.
Afloat.
Yeah.
But that's what you have to do to stay afloat. Which
is an indictment of the system.
So I guess when we're thinking about incentives, what we think about is how do we align the closest with our community.
Right.
We're not necessarily looking, make number go up.
Right.
We're thinking, how do we make it easier for people in our community to use the spaces that we're creating for them? Or to get in the kitchen more often and feel more confident. Again, it comes back to like, we love doing this stuff. We love cooking, and we love eating, and we love having fun in the kitchen. And we want other people to do that too. And sometimes you need to be critical. It makes it harder for people to be in the kitchen if they think, oh, this big time person recommended this product or recommended this book, and you get into it and you struggle with it.
Right.
Because they didn't touch on the nuance of that product or of that book. Because they're just trying to make money so that they can keep running their business. It feels icky. It feels icky to everybody who has to do it too. We had to do sponsorships when we were running a podcast network. This is like forever ago.
Yeah. That's largely informed to why we don't want to do them now.
Right. But it felt icky at the end doing these sponsorship deals, because I knew, as the person who was managing all of the sponsors, that the hosts of the shows were not going to like having to read these talking points from these companies. And it got harder and harder and harder.
We had to find
work with
different
people.
angles on it, and like how we want to present it in a way that didn't make us feel gross. But like, even outside of the incentives pulling your presentation in different directions, there's that opinion thing. I do think that opinions are inherently valuable, and people shouldn't be scared to have them. The taste test thing where everyone's like, for me or to me, this is something, like it's too spicy for me, or for me this is a 6, or whatever that is. Just fucking say it's a 6. It's fine. We have brains and understand how taste works.
I don't know though, dude. Like, there are so many times that we've had people jump in our comments when we're tasting.
This is my point. It's so obvious that taste is not like universal. Just say what it is to you, and if people like understand how they align with you, they can make decisions based on that. That's so stupid, and I don't know why people insist on people saying that. Fucking obvious. Drives me nuts.
It is obvious.
This is the like states their subjective opinions as faxing. Like, it's true to me. It is too sweet. It is too bland. It is whatever.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
It is the color beige.
You understand what I mean. Of course it's to me. I'm not tasting with your tongue. The perfect example of this to me is the Michelin Guide, whose taste we don't particularly like. But if you've experienced enough Michelin Guide restaurants, you know what to expect. Like, if something has a star, you've got a pretty good baseline for what that is going to mean.
Yeah.
There are outliers for sure, but for the most part, it's going to be moving in a fine dining direction, often like really French inspired. Like there's a certain style that they prefer.
I think that Michelin is valuable to people who don't necessarily cook every single day in their kitchen, because I remember going to a Michelin star restaurant when I was younger, having basically just eaten boxed macaroni cheese. God damn it.
Boxed macaroni cheese.
That experience was awesome because I was blown away by the combinations of flavors and textures and like just all the creativity that went on in these restaurants.
Right.
For someone like me, that was incredible. And I think that there are a lot more people out there with that kind of experience who go to places like this and say, like, this is the height of sophistication. This is it.
I do think that it actually gets to another like interesting point that I didn't write at all. Like I didn't think about, and that's how much reviewing things jades you. Like everything becomes kind of blasé.
You're too close to it.
Yeah.
It's like when words no longer have meaning.
Exactly. That's exactly what it's like. Trying to do a cookbook review and be like, what are my tasting notes? And then you're like, I can't grab onto anything here. It's freaking me out. What's happening?
How do we do that?
I pride myself on knowing how to taste things, and fuck, I can't taste things. Coming back to the whole Kat and Geoffrey thing, I think she did a really good job of balancing nuance and storytelling, like trying to be precise, but also actually like having a narrative through line in her review.
Yeah.
And those two things are kind of at odds with each other. So like trying to be specific hurts your storytelling the more you say it. Like this episode is already like all over the place because we're trying to be nuanced, but this is something that comes up a lot with like anything significantly scientific, because anytime we review something and I'm like, okay, I need to think about the material that goes into this and how it's constructed and whatever else. And then I go look at other people's like discussions of them. I find that like the research part is like completely missing. Like people don't know how to research. Like there's so many private chefs out there who are like, I only use plastic cutting boards because that's what ServSafe says. They'll say this stuff just because they have heard this thing this one time, but it doesn't really apply in a home because you don't have multi-quat in a home. You're not like sanitizing straight up. Your dishwasher's trap is probably full of junk, and so it's not doing a good job cleaning it. Like there's a lot of factors that just like kind of get fucked just because people are like, well, I didn't do the research, I just said what I've heard before.
But also research papers are extremely hard to read, and there are a lot of average people who do not have the time for this. And there is an amazing article that I think everyone should read.
I love this one.
It's called Why Academics Stink at Writing.
I used this article to make fun of my boss one time.
By Steven Pinker. It's a good article.
It's great. Please, if you have the time, if you can do it, it makes fun of like this academic prose so aggressively, and it's excellent. The
long and short of it is there are very few incentives for writing well, and writing poorly is a lot faster.
In academics, specifically.
In academics, right.
One of the first passages is talking about cookbooks, actually, which is kind of strange. But it's like, well, if we get back to first principles, is an egg real? Like,
yeah, right.
Can anyone know about cooking? Like,
tomatoes.
It's so good to read.
It's like we said, it's a long read, but I think it's worth it because it just highlights how difficult it is to read research papers and how much easier it is to just read the first thing that Google spits out at you as truth.
Right. And because of that poor writing, learning to understand experimental data takes a lot of time. And those Google results don't. You're just going to read whatever the like synopsis is. But that's, well, one, now with like the AI synopsis, way worse and way untrustworthy. But it also like it's a game of SEO at that point.
Yeah.
And marketers who are doing like SEO slop are going to take the top results rather than the like factual correct answers.
But then even further, you get into like evaluating papers, and like that's a whole other rabbit hole. So there's like PubMed, I think, is one that's really popular that a lot of people turn to. But I think something that a lot of people don't consider when they're reading PubMed articles is that a lot of people, a lot of companies can pay for these articles to come out, can pay for this research to happen. And so there's just like, you got to have a little bit of skepticism even when you're reading some of these.
So there's different parts of that
articles.
too. Like there's who funded the study. Right. And then is this a journal that does pay for placement? Because there are predatory journals that will just take whatever. Yeah. There are also journals with a point of view that will get aggregated anyway. And so you actually have to know several layers deeper than that, how to look for, I really like Scopus's Cite score mechanism, which kind of tells you how valuable the citations are, not just how many there are, because there could be a bunch of like wellness journals that are citing the same bullshit over and over and over. That happens kind of frequently, but you have to that's not on PubMed. And also PubMed, a lot of people take its existence on PubMed as like tacit, like endorsement of its contents.
Yeah.
They used to have a disclaimer at the top of the page that said PubMed does not endorse or concur with these posts or something to that effect. Now they have it behind a link at the bottom of it. And so it's even harder for people to realize that hey, this doesn't mean that it's a good paper.
Right. Not always. Some of them are good papers, but not all of them are. And you have to be good at research to know any of that.
Kind of closing the loop on this, hard to be right on the internet. If you're going to be wrong on the internet, the trick is really just to be wrong in the right way.
Yeah, I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
Because it's going to be so fucking hard for you to be 100% right about a thing, especially if you are not like a PhD graduate, expert level, like that level expert on a subject.
I don't want that to be the bar. I want people to be able to contribute to this thing that we love. I want other people to be able to review cookware. People say this all the time. You're doing my dream job. How do I do this? There's a lot that goes into that, but the easiest way to lower the bar for yourself a little bit is just learn how to be wrong in the right way.
Yeah.
And it only takes 3 things.
The 3 right ways to be wrong on the internet. Here we go. Number 1 is honesty.
We believe deeply in honest mistakes because, frankly, we're going to make them. That's the nature of the business.
But getting something wrong isn't inherently a bad thing.
Right.
Because you can also learn from that.
Right. It's really hard to learn without firsthand experience, and getting it wrong is the major firsthand experience that is going to improve your viewpoint.
Right. But if it seems like someone is actively lying or purposefully twisting the truth, that is unacceptable.
Yes. Fuck those people.
And they should be told that that's unacceptable.
Yes.
Number 2, show your work. Show your work. Cite your sources. Talk through your logic.
Anytime.
And how you got to a conclusion. Just talk through it.
Anytime some rando private chef, which takes no credentials to be, you just have to get hired by a rich person, I guess.
Yeah.
Says that they're doing something to prevent bacteria or whatever else, and the most that they've got is serve safe, maybe.
Hopefully. I have a serve safe and I fuck up all the time.
I've spent so much time reading 21 CFR of the FDA guidelines, whew.
Oh my
there's
God,
so much that
CFR.
people don't know to care about. Citing your sources is the best way to be okay, here's where my information is coming from, and you can make your own judgments based on if you have better information than that.
Hank Green is a really great example of somebody who does this really, really well.
Sarah
as someone else on the internet.
Sarah hears me complain about Hank Green so much, not out of hate or anything like that. I love Hank Green. I admire him so much. I have his microscope. When he talks about tech and food, he almost always gets some of the nuance wrong, but I don't feel bad about it because he explains his logic to get there. The last point is, don't get too invested in being right. This is a trap that I've fallen in before.
Number 3.
It's very easy to get defensive on the internet. Especially the early scripts I wrote from the perspective of never be wrong.
Yeah.
Because
but they're also no fun when you're not wrong either.
Yeah. It's fun to be goofy. It's fun to be strongly opinionated. But if you get really indignant, you paint a big target on your back, you will almost certainly be proven wrong because there's now an incentive to prove you wrong.
Right.
For cool points on the internet, I guess. And then it'll be more painful to learn from it than digging in further.
Yeah. Going back full circle to Kat and the Hamburger Project, she stated her opinion and gave a nuanced take on the matter. And Geoffrey disagreed, dug in, fucked around, and found out by getting fired.
And we love that for him. Should we move on to something less up our own ass and
Yeah, that got deep. I'm sorry that got so deep, everybody. We really wanted to talk about this stuff, but it's always really hard to talk about this stuff because it's very
It's meta and
It's a lot.
Yeah, navel gazy and it's challenging. But
sorry.
Now we're gonna talk about food.
It.
Next week we'll talk about food.
Yeah.
Okay. It's time for your questions.
Questionable content.
As a reminder, if you want to ask a question, you can call us and leave a voicemail that we can play on the show at 424-419-FLAV. That's 424-419-3528 for you youngsters. Or post questions in the Going Off channel over at coldplay.com/community.
After our favorite ingredient draft, that was not last week, but the week before, we got a few questions about how to use them, including our first voicemail from Jason.
Jason.
Hey, this is Jason. We've interacted a couple times before on TikTok as Steffian. But when I saw the voicemail option, I had to because that's just so old school and novel. I just finished watching your first episode of Going Off. Really enjoyed it. At the very end, you mentioned, Bryn mentioned, that one of the proteins that he would have put on there was pork shoulder, which caught me off guard. So my question is, pork shoulder, what are you going to do with it? Give me some examples. What are the different ways you would take that pork shoulder and, is it going to be into tacos or what, shred it up? What are you going to do? So, looking forward for the next one. You guys are doing great.
Oh.
Nothing but love.
I love it. Thanks, Jason.
Go leave us voicemails. That's so fun. Okay. I have immediate thoughts. Sarah, what do you got?
Okay. The easy answer is our recipe that we made, kimchi raikkonen.
Yep.
It's our second most popular recipe on our website.
It's a kimchi jjigae. Oftentimes, kimchi jjigae uses pork belly. We chose pork shoulder because it's both more available, and we find that a lot of time, like pork belly has more fat than we want.
Yeah.
It's more of a textural thing than anything.
All right, so we did a review of the Momofuku cookbook a few years back by David Chang, and he has a recipe for posam that is off the chain.
He has a different style from classic posam too.
So good. Basically what it is like a pork shoulder that's marinated overnight in brown sugar. Shove that bad boy in the fridge, whip it out the next day, throw it in the oven, basically immediately, and cook it for like 5 to 6 hours.
It gets glazy and tender. It's so gorgeous.
You want to baste it a few times in between those 5 and 6 hours, but other than that, it's like a very easy dish. And then you serve that along with like rice. I like to have kimchi, ginger scallion sauce.
Ginger scallion sauce is the hit for me.
Yep. White rice. Throw it in some lettuce.
You roll it up. Some is
shove
it means wrap.
Mouth. Yeah. Eat it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
You try and shove the whole thing in your mouth at once. It's such a fun thing to make people do at like a party or event kind of thing.
Well, you don't have to make people try to shove.
No, it's way more fun than not doing it.
But yeah, it's one of our favorite things to make for people if we're entertaining because it's very easy to make and it's usually a crowd pleaser. He recommends in the book to pair it with oysters. If you're an oyster person, it's actually pretty good with oysters.
There's some pretty cool tricks
on the side,
like clarified kimchi, consomme, that kind of stuff. Like there's some really interesting things that go with it.
Yeah, but we're not necessarily oyster people
because norovirus isn't worth it.
Norovirus is not worth it
at
all.
Oysters do taste good.
But yeah, braising or confying pork shoulder opens up a ton of doors.
I feel like that's like braising and confying is like where all the magic is with pork shoulder.
Do you remember a few years ago?
Like a few years ago?
Well, like a whole lifetime ago, it feels like Bryn made this.
I was 19.
Red curry pork tacos, and we took an entire crock pot of that shit to a friend's house for a week. And we ate that and drank beer for like 6 days, I want to say. 6 or 7 days straight.
This was like a little hackathon thing.
It was, but that's all we ate.
Yeah.
And at the time, I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. By the end of that week, I never, ever, ever wanted to I didn't even want to see that crock pot again. I was so sick of it, but it was really good.
Now that you've heard that great sales pitch for it, all it was pork shoulder with chicken stock and red curry paste and coconut milk.
Yeah.
And then we would like basically make tacos out of that with like a pickled cabbage situation, which I mean, literally just like shredded cabbage with salt. And then what else was there? Lime pickled onions.
Mayo.
Yeah, mayo. So
kept it really easy.
almost like a fish taco, but with curried pork swapped in, which was pretty delicious.
It was good. I would be open to trying it again.
Now?
20
years later?
Yeah, but oh God. You couldn't even get me to eat like a taco after that week. I was so over it. Carnitas are also an obvious candidate for pork shoulder.
You can make a really easy version of carnitas. So carnitas is a confit pork, usually with several different spices and some oranges. I like to do a very simple version with just like your pork shoulder, lard, orange peels, oregano. Is there anything else?
I think that's it. Bonus points is also really great on nachos.
Oh yeah, kicks ass on nachos. Like this is 90% as good as like regular carnitas, but for very little effort. And then you just gotta salt the shit out of it afterwards.
Yeah, salt the shit out of it.
But I do that after the cook. On the kind of carnitas note, al pastor, slice it up, put pineapple slices in between, coat it in like ricado rojo, which is, I mean, annatto seeds and some other spices. Delicious. Always a hit.
Yep.
Throw it on the grill.
It's a pretty chill al pastor. Another option, one of my personal favorites, is pulled pork sandwiches.
Straight up barbecue.
Straight up. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I made a barbecue sauce recipe.
Which one?
Called None Too Bright.
Ooh.
It's on our website if you want the recipe for it.
It's meant to be
Carolina style.
Yeah, it's approachable Carolina style. Like we tried to make it more like None Too Bright specifically refers to how it's not like super sharp like a lot of them are.
But it's mustardy.
Yeah.
Then you could also do something kind of braisy, like a sugo.
Yeah.
With some pasta or polenta. Polenta actually is really great with like a braisy, porky situation.
Like a classic like meat braise where you reduce down the stock that goes with it to the point where it's kind of, it's not like watery anymore. And then you can just coat pasta with that. It's fantastic.
I think that's it. Hopefully that helps, Jason, if you're trying to use more pork shoulder.
Try to use more pork shoulder. Thank you for leaving a voicemail.
Yeah, thank you.
That was fun. Relatedly, Liz on the Going Off channel and Wentley on YouTube asked, what do you use cabbage for usually? And now I need some cabbage ideas since it got picked as your top 10. I never know what to cook it with.
Hold on. I just want to read this part of Liz's comment. She said, I never know what to cook it with. Today I stuffed it into bolognese just to show how desperate I am to use it. Is it bolognese?
Bolognese.
Anyway, my favorite thing to do it is just char the shit out, cut it in half, throw it in some oil in a skillet, and just char the shit out of it, and then make a pan sauce.
I think Sad Poppy also has some like good roasted cabbage recipes.
Yeah, it's honestly one of my favorite ways to eat it. Just like roast it, pan sauce, get some crunchy stuff on there too. Like I know people do pine nuts a lot, but
pistachio.
Ooh, pistachio would be good.
Walnut,
croutons, even.
I love a cabbage roll, like an Eastern European cabbage roll. Lots of sour cream, tomato. You could even use pork shoulder in there. Wouldn't be the worst. Like a tomatoey braise with some rice in there. Ooh,
sounds great. Then there's slaw and kimchi.
Pretty easy, pretty obvious. But kimchi is surprisingly easy to make. It takes like 2 days. You can really control a lot of the factors that people have issues with, like the fishiness or like the sharpness, if you make it yourself. And it's very low risk to make. Now, I did in this say green cabbage, but Napa or Savoy are particularly good for my Akira Toriyama recipe. You can do it with green cabbage, but it's really meant for something with looser layers.
Shameless plug for his own recipe.
I'm really proud of that recipe. It did start with green cabbage though.
Yeah.
When I first kicked it off, but Sarah was like, use Napa. It's got the layers, and honestly, she was right.
And then there's like several types of lab that use cabbage instead of lettuce, which is commonly used in the U.S.
One of your favorites, Saikrook Isan, which is like a sour fermented Thai sausage that you can easily buy in like freezer section of an Asian store. Champs brand makes a really really good one. And you just chuck them in the oven and like roast them. Mm-hmm. They're often served with like chopped cabbage, sliced onion, sliced ginger, and peanuts. Mm-hmm. This is one of our favorite lunches.
It's also just a favorite chill dinner. If
Yeah,
you're like, I'm
so
not
easy.
really hungry, but I know I need to eat something.
There's 4 sausages to a pack. You can decide whether that's 1 or 2 servings. Kicks ass.
Yeah, it's good. And then we did a review of In BB's Kitchen a while ago.
Yes.
And I have to shout out the chakalaka, which is kind of like a kimchi chutney combo. Mm-hmm. South African dish. It's great with grilled cheese.
The Dune salad is the other one I want to talk about. One of our favorite restaurants here in LA, especially for like lunches, has these meze plates where they pretty much always put this like salted cabbage salad with sumac. So good. Mm-hmm. It's like a really low key slaw that goes with a lot more things, I think, especially like compared to like a mayonnaise based slaw, which can be, I don't know, it takes on its own specific personality, I think. Whereas this is kind of like happy to play. Does that mean anything?
I get what you're saying.
Was that nonsensical?
I get what you mean.
Okay. Lastly.
Last question.
Yeah. My little brother, Brady, longtime caller, first time listener, asked by text, and I quote, "The fuck is a lime leaf?" So that was my, I think, number 9. My all-time favorite ingredient. It's just not super practical, but it is both the best smell and flavor, in my opinion, on earth.
Mm-hmm. It does smell really good, actually. Sometimes I go outside and just like rub it in between my fingers so I can smell.
Goes out to the tree that we have on our front porch. Still, they're really pokey, so I'm trying to be very careful. I've already poked myself with this branch since I brought it in 2 seconds ago.
I was like,
Sarah, would you like a leaf?
I want that.
Brad, you want a leaf? He's trying to eat it. Yeah, it is delicious.
Yeah, he will try to eat it.
That's very funny.
Dangerous for dogs? I don't think so.
I mean, I'm not going to feed it to him anyway.
Don't do it.
It's got this cool double-lobed leaf. They're commonly called makrut, or a word that starts with K that I'm not going to say here because it is a South African slur. But if you've ever heard something lime leaf, that's what they're talking about. Double-lobed leaf, if you tear them up and use them like a bay leaf, it is incredible smelling. So super citrusy, but like a little bit more complex and bitter.
Yeah.
Kind of in that bay leaf way. It is like much stronger than a bay leaf. And it's kind of if you ever had Penang curry, it's one of the defining flavors of Penang curry. I try and squeeze them into everything I can.
We put them into cookies.
Oh, the peanut butter cookies with them.
There's not a recipe for it right now, but.
And coconut flakes.
We tried it. It is very tasty.
Delicious.
So good.
Tom yum and tom kha, I think, also have it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a good example. So lots of Thai food. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Not really. But yeah, that's what they are. I have them tattooed on my arm because I like them so much. Okay. That got weird for a second.
Well, it's going to get weirder.
Oh, yeah.
Because now we're going to shoot over to a taste test that we did.
With Radicchio Salad.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
I'm Ori Tom Ravid. I started Radicchio Salad a few years ago, and I'm TikTok's #1 biggest beanfluencer.
And I'm Chris Hendricks, his partner.
And we are both Radicchio Salad together, along with other people. A couple years ago, we invented bean milk, which is milk made from beans. This has never been made before. And it really just kind of skyrocketed from there, I would say.
Yeah, it started with him asking if he would mind if he made something really gross in my kitchen. And he made it and then forced me to drink it. And there was a furious 5 days of him mad sciencing in the kitchen and then bringing me occasionally a deli full of like a disgusting looking liquid and being like, is this better or worse than the last time? And that's how it got started.
Okay, well, we're going to continue that trend today. There won't be delis, but we're going to bring you some riffs on the bean milk format and then ask you to identify what they are and rate them 1 to 10 without knowing what's coming next.
Mm-hmm. I'm so stoked.
I hope so.
No, I am, yeah.
Can we have little notepads?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I want to take notes.
Okay, so this first bean milk is, I believe, your recipe that Sarah made 2 days ago?
Ooh, 2 days ago?
It was, well, I finished it yesterday.
Okay.
It soaked the night before,
Okay.
and then I finished it yesterday.
Okay,
so.
that's fine.
You're like, it's gonna be nasty.
The longest that we've gone, I think, is 5 days.
Okay.
And there was a period of time where I was putting it in my coffee sometimes and drinking it and trying it out, and it was actually okay. But then, like after the third or fourth day, I was like, well, maybe it's not okay. So,
but
What happened? Did it just like
ages
congeal
well.
or
it doesn't age great.
The first 2 days of aging, I think, are necessary, or they were at the beginning.
Yeah, because something about it aging in the fridge, I think, allows more gases to escape or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Very barista.
Interesting.
that's
Yeah.
our hypothesis.
The color is nice. This looks like bean milk, I will say, so good job.
It looked roughly like what I'd seen on your videos.
Yeah.
I was so nervous when I did it. I was like, oh no, he's gonna be like you.
May I ask what
Fucked it
beans?
No. We have to figure it
Oh,
out,
true.
don't we?
Okay, yeah.
I think you're gonna find out very
Yeah.
quickly.
I mean,
Okay.
this is black beans.
Oh, it's good. This is
It
better.
is good.
This is better than
This is
mine.
better than his.
Yeah.
Sarah was so nervous.
Thanks
She's like,
for
"What if I
being-
made it wrong?"
Thanks for being nice. The
No.
whole time I was like, oh no, 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 no.
There's more salt in here, which is actually really nice.
Yeah, I
I've been-
did like too big.
I've been nervous to put more salt in because I wanted it to be like as close to milk as possible, but I think the salt actually adds a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the hardest parts about black bean milk is that it has this like kind of bitter aftertaste. It like hits like right here
Yeah.
in the throat, and we tried a bunch of things to tamp down that flavor and experience, and I think salt is one of the ones that helps mediate it.
Yeah, I don't detect any bitterness at all. Are these Rancho Gordo?
No, they're Simply.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
They come in. They're at Whole Foods.
SIMPLI.
Well,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Spoken like a true Bay Area beanosaur.
Yeah, maybe next
Venusaur.
time, make sure to get Rancho Gordos next time.
Wow.
Yeah, no. We used.
don't.
I think you said this was better, so.
I also
You're
have
right.
been making them with Goya beans. I've been making bean milk with Goya beans mostly, and it tastes fine. So
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go out the gate and rank this 2, my second choice.
2.
Just to, it's
right,
the
all
first one we're getting, and I have to leave space at the top in case something tops it.
Oh, so 1 is best, 10
Yeah.
is worse.
Best 10 is worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
So it's 2.
Got it. I thought you were saying you wanted to leave room above.
Like a little room. A little
Just a
bit
tiny
of room.
bit of room.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. In case something's better.
for the sake of being fun, I'm gonna rank this at 5.
Okay.
So
This is our baseline.
this is the baseline.
Our North Star.
And my guess is black bean. Yeah.
That
Oh,
is
yeah.
Black bean.
That was a good guess. Ding, ding, ding.
So
Okay.
there are a few here. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't tell us
I'm
anything.
not gonna say anything.
Okay.
My hunch is always to fill
Ooh.
everyone in as much as possible.
This is goopy.
I think I know what this is, but I'm not positive.
Okay, off the bat, goopy is
Yeah.
it looks carbonated. But maybe those are just particulates.
Do you want me to tell you or no?
No, don't tell
Okay.
me. Ooh, I actually like the smell.
It is your recipe, just a different base.
You know what? This is good, but I have a.
Oh,
I'm against this, but I do like it. If that makes sense.
okay. His reaction makes me think it's chickpeas.
It's definitely chickpea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is why it's so
Wait,
thick.
why is the reaction chickpea?
Because he hates chickpeas.
Oh.
Or like he has like an ethical / cultural.
I don't hate chickpeas. I actually think chickpeas are exoticized in a way that makes me feel weird.
Oh, okay.
But
Also, chickpea water is disgusting, and like the smell of the can of chickpeas is foul.
So I think the aquafaba is essentially what like thickened this.
yeah,
Did you use the
Not canned,
aquafaba?
but, like,
okay.
It was definitely set in the fridge overnight.
I will say this does taste really good.
It kind of tastes like hazelnuts or like
Oh, I think
gianduja.
It reminds me of halva,
Yeah, totally.
even though there's no chickpea in the halva,
Yeah.
but somehow like emotionally it triggers the
No,
same.
that's like surprisingly
Emotional
good.
halva milk.
Yeah, emotional
Yeah.
halva milk.
Okay,
You can make a really good latte with this, for real.
You can make like eggnog or like
Yeah.
vegan eggnog with chickpea.
I'm not joking. Like,
Yeah,
obviously,
I
it's
like
really
that.
good. I'm gonna drink more of it.
Nutella-y / pistachio-y / sesame-y.
I'm gonna put this at number 2.
I'm gonna put this at my number 1.
You regretting your decision?
This is it.
I am regretting my decision because I didn't think that they could get better. Have we started a revolution?
Maybe. Yeah, we're always taking investments. If you want to reach out, there will be a return on it at some point.
In hugs.
Radicchio Salad, now a Delaware C Corp.
Yeah, very that. We're really a community-based content and comedy.
We're really just an ecosystem
Oh my God.
of comedy and food and media.
And hot takes,
Yeah, hot people.
hot people, hot takes, hot food.
UC Bean.
UC
You
beans.
see bean.
Wait, how did you think of making bean milk in the first place?
I was just fucking around on TikTok. I made a video ranking the top 5 beans, and then I made a video making bean predictions, and one of those predictions was bean milk. Like, you could go to Blue Bottle and get a latte with bean milk, for instance. And then I decided to make it because I didn't know like where to go from there afterwards, basically.
Yeah.
And that video kind of blew up a little bit,
Yeah.
which is fun.
It's a good video.
Ooh, this is the color of Hershey's. What are they? Hershey's.
If it was just in water.
Well, no. What's the little
Kisses?
roll?
Oh, Tootsie Rolls.
Tootsie Rolls. Ooh,
It does have a different brown quality.
This was the only one that Sarah brought in and said, this one's bad.
this is foul looking.
It smells like
It
coffee.
looks like doo-doo water. Oh, it smells like tobacco. Oh God, it smells like an old smoker's lounge.
It's a spittoon.
Yes. Ew.
I don't like that it smells like coffee, but it's clearly not coffee.
Do you smell the tobacco though?
Yeah, it smells like tobacco water.
Yeah. It smells like a old McDonald's lounge in the 70s / 90s when smoking was allowed inside.
It's whatever they washed off the ball pit in the play place.
Ew, gross. Okay, now I have to actually try it. Oh. It tastes like tobacco water too.
The first thing that comes to mind is Fernet.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. Okay, now that you say that, I kind of like it more. It's got like a botanical quality to it, kind of licoricey.
It's bitter.
It's bitter, but in the same way that like an Amaro is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you talking yourselves into liking it?
Yeah, actually. One thing about us is like, despite having very strong opinions about disliking things, we appreciate things for what they are.
You got to take something on its own terms.
Have you tried mixing this with like vodka or anything?
No.
What's a drink that has Fernet in it?
Fernet.
Fernet
Fernet
and
and
cola.
Coke.
Oh,
Put
yeah.
some Coca-Cola in that.
You guys some Coke right now? No. As far as the kind of bean goes, it tastes a little burnt also. Did you guys burn it on accident?
Is it coffee bean milk?
Yes.
It is coffee.
It's your recipe with coffee beans.
It's the same method, just with coffee beans.
That's
I wanted to see how it would work.
Wait, but like green or
They were
roasted?
already
roasted,
roasted.
Okay. Wow.
So I think that's where you're getting the like burnt flavor because
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
like
yeah.
a full 90 minutes.
Wow.
Okay, so it is coffee.
Yeah.
That makes me feel better.
It's literally like the same ratio of stuff too. It's like the sugar, the baking soda.
Baking soda and the salt, yeah.
Wow.
I just wanted to see what would happen.
I would order this if it was at a coffee shop, probably just out of curiosity, and then I'd probably never order it again.
Yeah.
But I would have enjoyed it in the moment, I would say.
Okay, so I mentioned vodka, but that would make an espresso martini.
This would make a really good espresso martini.
Yeah, I think it actually would make a good espresso martini.
I think that's a cursed espresso martini,
You
which
gotta,
is, I guess, just an espresso martini.
you
so.
gotta try something new, you know?
But where do we put
We
it?
can send you guys home with some and you can try it.
Maybe. We can put it in my mom's fridge. It'll just live there.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah.
It'll never get thrown out. I will put this at my 8.
I'm going to do 7.
Okay. When he was first starting this journey and we knew nothing about how to make it, he served me some like truly foul things. There was a point in time where I was worried that like we were actively being poisoned.
And it turns out that there is poison in beans that you have to cook out. And if you don't, it's just like really is bad for you.
Yeah, exactly.
So we probably were drinking poison.
Yeah, probably.
At least once.
At least once. There were times when it
you
was
just gotta
like,
take things for what they are.
yeah.
And sometimes that thing is poison.
You know, I
Sometimes
really
it's just
love.
poison.
I love this
Listen.
poison for being poisonous.
Poison is valid.
Yeah, poison is valid. There were times when it was so bitter. There were times when it was soapy.
Soapy.
Yeah.
What was the soapy one? I don't remember.
The early black bean.
The early black bean?
Yeah.
I didn't get rid of the bitterness really, or I didn't figure out how to get rid of it.
Oh, right.
And for whatever reason, the first batch that I made, I didn't think was that bitter, but when I tried making it more over and over again, they became more and more bitter until I added baking soda to it.
Yeah.
And that was the trick.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I know what this is.
Okay. Well, it's very creamy. It's milky looking. Looks like actual milk. Very opaque. Smells pretty much like nothing.
It's soy milk, right?
Interesting. That tastes like cake batter before you've like added enough sugar or like any of the rest of the ingredients. Or like really liquidy frosting, like vanilla frosting.
It does taste vanilla-y.
It's not good. It's very watery. Not sweet enough.
This is the most neutral milk we've had.
Yeah, but like neutral in the worst possible way.
Well, this is why I thought this was soy milk.
I wanted something neutral after the last one. This is silk unsweetened soy milk. This
Okay.
is the only store-bought one because I couldn't find soybeans.
Okay, this is foul.
I don't hate it. I don't love it.
Does it have added vanilla?
No.
You sure?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm going to put this at 10 just because it's store-bought soy milk.
I will also put this at 10.
Good choice.
It's surprising how bad this is. Honestly, given how good the chickpea one was, like, that's way better than this.
Yeah.
And they're selling this. Is this green lentils? Oh, no, it's not. Oh.
I know what it is.
How do you know what it is? It smells like green beans.
Yeah.
It smells asparagus-y. It smells...
It's green bean.
Yeah, it smells vegetal. As you can see, it's like a milky lemon lime Gatorade color. Oh.
What's it, snap peas? Is it snap pea?
It is pea.
Is it just pea? Is it just pea
it's
milk?
just
Just
frozen
frozen peas.
Yeah, that's what it tastes like.
It's salty. It's bitter.
Did you add sugar to this?
No.
No.
Just
you
salt.
just milked it.
I just added a little bit of salt.
I got
no
beans
sugar.
from Parker. Can you milk me?
Yeah, exactly.
It's very Anderson's pea soup, but
That's
yeah.
exactly what I was gonna say.
Oh, God. Is this the worst one, though?
It is the worst one, but we already said 10, so this is 9 for me. Although you did say that there were several bad ones, so...
I'm going to put this at 8.
8. Okay, so as we can see, this is like a sherbety orange color and consistency. Okay, so this smells like at a gas station when you open the front door and you have like the whiff of gasoline in the back and like the smell of like cleaning agents as you're walking inside.
It also smells like cooked stew. Like if you walk into
Yeah.
someone's house and they're
Yes.
cooking food and it just smells like stew that's
Yeah.
been cooking on the stove.
Or just like a Mexican spice blend, kind of cumin-y and like...
It smells a little carroty or like a little vegetal. Like cooked vegetables.
It smells more spiced to me than
smell-
anything else.
There's a little spice quality to it.
I'm reasonably certain
Oh.
you've had this before. I will
It,
say that.
you know, it also smells like tomato juice. It kind of tastes like tomato
It
juice.
tastes like tomato juice. V80.
Is this V8?
Honestly, that's like good as a soup. Like what's a velouté?
This could be a soup at
Isn't it like? Isn't
Yeah.
it velouté like
It's like a gazpacho kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Or like a vichyssoise or something.
yeah, like a cold
A
clarified
vichyssoise.
soup.
This could be a soup at creation, honestly.
Totally.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it already was.
Okay. Can you give us like a
It has a weird aftertaste.
What's a bean that's famously marinated?
Marinated.
Yeah.
cannellini?
I don't think this would be cannellini though, because it's
What's like the jar of like you remember like Italian farmhouse kitchens that have like the marinated green beans and whatnot, and did those also have like beans in them?
Are these like gigante beans? Gigante?
We're failing.
Are you ready?
here. Yeah.
These are Heyday tomato olive vodka cannellini beans.
Oh wow! So it is
So
soup.
you were,
It
yeah,
is
you were
literally
on,
soup.
you were on point with everything.
This is a very thick soup.
Nice.
You've tried those?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. Honestly,
We
like
tried all of them. We wouldn't let you try something that we
Okay.
hadn't.
As a soup, it's pretty good. As a bean beverage, it's pretty bad.
He's like, where do I put this?
like,
I already
oh,
filled my
no.
10.
I mean, Heyday is part of the Radicchio Salad family, so I'm gonna give it a 6.
That's nepotism.
What am I gonna give it? I feel like I have to give it a 7. Okay.
This one was my least favorite.
Okay.
This looks the same except muted.
Yeah.
More muted.
Yeah. More purpley than bright orange.
I think if you smell it, you're going to know exactly what it is.
Also very thick. Ketchup.
Oh.
Oh, is this like Bush's beans?
As Bush's baked bean milk.
Absolutely. Honestly, that's not that bad.
It's honestly not that bad.
I don't think that's bad.
It's got like kind of a mapley
Yeah.
quality to it,
Yeah.
but you definitely know it's Bush's.
Totally.
He's like, I hate what I've wrought.
This would be good in a cocktail.
What cocktail?
A
What-
martini.
Like like something with bourbon, you know.
Interesting.
Oh, okay.
I could see that.
I don't want to drink this or ingest it really as a beverage on its
Yeah,
own.
yep.
Because it makes me feel gross.
Yep. Like Bush's baked beans normally do. Yep.
Like it's making me a little nauseous.
I feel like British people would love this.
Baked beans, baked bean milk.
Yeah, baked bean
Beans on
milk.
toast?
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of yogurt in the morning, it's just this. With muesli or whatever.
Ew.
You want crispy with this?
No, like overnight oats.
Oh my god.
Have you seen the Bush's Beans marketing stuff recently?
The recent stuff?
Yeah.
The only thing I know of is the like dog one, or like long time ago.
Oh.
There was like a dog.
They're having like a social media blitz right now.
Really?
I fell into the trap and bought some merch. They have sunglasses that are bean shaped.
Oh my god.
Honestly, that's on brand.
I know.
He got me the bean sunglasses.
Yeah, I got you the bean sunglasses.
And I wear them.
amazing. Where are you gonna put the bushes?
Is it actually worse than the pea milk though? But it's too late.
Yeah, I've already used up all my low slots.
But is anything going to be better? I haven't used any of my.
We got a couple. We're ending on some high notes. So.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So you just pureed that basically and strained it.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know how to add more sugar to this. Like it's
No, you
already
should
pretty
not,
sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this looks like Nesquik, like hot cocoa mix.
Yeah. It looks like chocolate milk.
Yeah, it looks like chocolate milk. It leaves a nice murky film.
It smells good.
It smells like Nesquik.
This is just chocolate
is
milk.
very
This is
chocolatey.
cocoa beans.
That is the bean. That is the bean. There is something else in there.
Oh, that's nice. It also tastes like hazelnut to me.
This
Tastes
is
like
really good.
Nutella.
This is obviously the best one.
Yes, Nutella.
Yep.
Nutella.
Okay.
Yum.
Yum.
Wait, so what'd you do with the chocolate bean?
You made this
Oh,
one.
it's just Nutella blitzed in there.
Oh.
That's literally milk with Nutella in it.
But like milk or water?
Milk.
It's just
Oh.
milk and Nutella.
Oh.
I'm not a pervert. Come on.
Wow.
Well,
You need consistency in what you're giving to us.
I was trying to give you a better consistency.
Thank you. I mean, this is delicious.
Yeah.
I figured that would be a nice like refresher
Yeah,
after some of
yeah.
those.
Just a little bit of a palate cleanser.
Is hazelnut a legume though?
It is, but the chocolate was the bean.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Okay.
At least I think it's a bean. No one, or a legume. No one correct me.
Hazelnuts?
No one correct
Yeah.
me.
It's a tree.
What does that mean? Is it a drupe then?
I think it's a nut.
Yeah, it's a nut.
Okay.
Here we go.
Almonds are
semantics.
drupes.
What? What did you say?
Almonds are nuts.
Almonds are drupes.
Yeah.
They're culinarily nuts. This is the problem that will
Yeah.
happen in the comments.
Yeah.
This is what I was describing.
Okay.
Well, it's like there's no such thing as a vegetable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Culinarily and like,
Yeah. There's also no such thing as trees.
or fish.
Yes.
I just want to state for the record that I'm against this discourse. If something's a nut, it's a nut. If something's a tree, it's a tree.
No.
This is like that Supreme Court ruling. I know it when I see it.
Yeah. Palm trees are grasses.
Corn's a grass.
It's tall and it has leaves.
Okay, so now we're getting into like
What is a leaf?
cladistic versus phylogenetic.
Emotionally, a palm tree
I
is a
know.
tree.
Emotionally, a palm tree is
He's
a
a
tree.
Libra, so everything is like what's emotionally true.
So Chris is a Virgo.
I am
Chris
a
is a Virgo.
Virgo.
All right. Well,
This is just milk.
milk.
It has milk in it.
Wait, we didn't rank them, but that last one I have to put it at 3 because I already used up 1 and 2.
I'm going to put it at 3 also, even though it was the best one, because I feel like it's kind of cheating.
It is
Sorry.
cheating.
It is cheating. The
It is
next
cheating.
few are kind of cheating.
Okay.
A little bit.
They are the least beanie of all of them.
Yep.
This smells like tires.
Or it just goes for it.
Vanilla pudding, Jello mix,
That's not a bean though.
vanilla bean, vanilla bean milk.
Vanilla bean is where I was going to start with it.
Okay.
It is not that.
I still haven't tried it because it still smells like
Tires.
to me. It has like a rubber quality.
You got to treat it like durian and just get in there.
Definitely tastes like generically vanilla-y sweet.
I'm gonna pension a guess that there's no actual bean in here besides vanilla, or is there?
In name there is. So there's something called a bean in there.
In name there is. What other named beans?
This is a culinary item. This is something you.
This is something approved for
Yeah.
human consumption. Generally regarded as safe.
Okay, I'm gonna ask for 1 hint. Don't give it to us, but give us a
Okay.
hint.
The flavor is vanilla.
The flavor is vanilla.
Okay.
Technically French vanilla.
There are a ton of different flavors.
Coffee creamer
No, what's the bean?
and creamer.
We had to sort through 40 flavors to get this.
Did you
Soy
purchase?
milk.
Is it soy milk again?
No,
No.
Did you purchase this at a fancy grocery store?
no.
No. Albertsons.
It was the least fancy ingredient on the list. Worse than Bush's, I would say. It comes in a variety pack. You can't like buy them
Can't buy
separately.
it. Well, you
so
probably
we
could.
if you wanted one flavor, we had to get it out.
Oh, a jelly bean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's French vanilla jelly beans.
Oh, that's fun.
You guys sorted through all the jelly beans.
All Sarah.
That's fun.
That's fun.
I bought 3 40 packs of jelly beans because I was like, there's got to be enough.
I
of
googled
3.
jelly bean milk, and apparently it's an actual thing for like Easter.
For Easter.
Yeah.
Now that you say it, I can definitely taste all the rest of the flavors.
A little
jelly
bit.
bean.
You're like, they all kind of commingle in this one flavor.
Certainly that, but like also like the like jelly part of a jelly
Yeah,
bean
right?
also has its own like specific flavor, and I think
Distinct.
that's the like rubber that I'm picking up.
As soon
on.
as you said rubber, I was like, that's definitely a jelly bean for sure.
Yeah.
If you told me this was soy milk, I wouldn't second guess that at all. I
Yeah.
would just be like, okay.
That has to go at 5 then. Jelly bean. 1 or 4? Come on. You know the answer.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the only two-parter.
2-parter.
Two-parter.
It's got to be activated.
What?
Activated milk.
Don't let Erwan hear.
They'll have a field day with this.
If it coagulates like as I'm drinking it, I'm gonna be upset.
Okay, I'm gonna cleanse my palate
Yeah.
first. I would say this is a beige color.
It's an ecru.
Eggshell. It smells like peanuts.
It smells like peanuts, yeah. Which it probably is.
This is good.
It has like a weird aftertaste. Honestly, the more I drink it, the more I like it.
You just got to get inoculated.
I think so, yeah.
Peanut milk. It's the future.
Peanut milk?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, why is it a two-part?
This is the Statebird Provisions peanut muscovado milk that they call the World Peace Shot.
Ooh.
Why do they call it the World Peace Shot?
Because if people drank this, they would have world peace, I think was the premise.
You can't be mad.
Well, I have to put this at 4.
I'm happy with my decision to put it at 1.
Other than like putting black beans at 2 right off the bat, I'm fairly happy with my rankings.
I would say that chickpea milk for me is actually the number 1.
I would agree.
Interesting.
I'm a changed man.
Yeah. Can you bring back the chickpea?
Yeah, I'll see if. Yeah, we got some more. We definitely have some more. I can see it.
I want to side by side it. Okay, the color is definitely less appetizing.
Yes.
It's so thick.
It's
so gooey. He surprised himself with it.
I still like it the best.
Yeah.
I assume you strained
Toss
it.
the peanut milk in there now.
It's literally the bean milk recipe, but with. And now it's a 3-parter. This milk is fully activated.
It's gonna activate our root chakra.
Yeah,
pretty
exactly.
soon.
That's nice. That's actually really good.
Yeah? I'll try a little bit, sure.
Are we gonna get a Michelin star? Tell Statebird Provisions that they're missing out.
Stuart.
I mean,
It's good.
it's pretty nice. It's like a better mouthfeel, I think,
Yes.
with the chickpea. Do you guys have any other statements before we go?
I will say when we first started bean milk, it was totally a joke. It's definitely not a joke anymore. Bean milk is real. Bean milk is the future. I am a believer, and I want to spread the message to everyone who's watching or not watching. Tell your friends, tell your family. Radicchio Salad zine is what we're focusing on right now. And that is a published document via PDF that we are still trying to figure out the schedule for.
There will be one coming this month, January 2025.
Yeah, and this is the first step in figuring out what the future of Radicchio Salad holds, I would say.
Yeah, we believe in community, like we said, and content that extends beyond like TikTok and Instagram. And I also believe in the return of the magazine or the zine and like self-publishing. I think those are all great things. And we've got a lot of funny and informative content on there.
Yeah, ultimately, we love food. We care a lot about food. I worked in restaurants for a long time, and this is a project that is kind of like food media that I wish existed.
And now it exists.
And now it's out
It
there.
exists, yeah.
Thank you so much to Chris and Ori for coming over, hanging out, and goofing around for a little while.
It was
Sorry
so much
we
fun.
made you taste some truly appalling bean
Hey,
milks.
I got a text from Chris like yesterday saying that chickpea milk was the #1 drink of the year.
Sick.
If you haven't checked it out though, Radicchio Salad, the zine, issue 3 just came out.
Yep.
At the time of recording. I think it was 2 days ago.
You can find them at radicchiosalad.com. Highly recommend. They do good work.
They added a banner to their website that says official winner of the Doing It Right Flavy Award, which is so funny. It's great. Highly recommend. Good stuff. Go watch it.
Oh my God.
They're the best. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Do you want to go eat some food?
I thought you'd never ask.